Next up on KSL Outdoors. We're taking you to Ticaboo, an oasis settled in the southern Utah desert where Lake Powell and Red Rock Adventure collide. Plus, a new direction at Hite Marina. Land-based recreation is coming to Glen Canyon. I'm Adam Eakle, and this is KSL Outdoors.
KSL Outdoors with Adam Eakle is brought to you by your local Ford stores.
Hey, welcome to KSL Outdoors and welcome to Southern Utah. You know, for 4 decades, I've come past this very spot. Our base camp today, if you will, it's Ticaboo. And the organizers here, the owners, are hoping that people will come down here to Southern Utah and experience the history and the sights and sounds just outside Lake Powell. Ticaboo, Utah is a small, quiet town, especially in the winter. Ticaboo Adventure Center is hoping to change that by offering water and land-based activities 365 days a year.
So when you drive down 276, even though it's beautiful, you can't see all the stuff that's there, but once you get away from that highway a mile or so in either direction, it's really spectacular. We're going to do what we call the Taste of Ticaboo. And you're going to go see the mines. You're going to go up into the Morrison Formation, which is the dinosaur grounds where we can find coprolite and dinosaur bones. Then we're going to swing over to the Badlands on the west side of us, which is the east side of Capitol Reef National Park. And you'll see some really beautiful, especially today with the sun out, and with that wet snow, it's going to be a really spectacular view of that gold and silver mesas.
You wouldn't even know this is here from the road.
Yeah, you have to come back here to see it. And there's a lot of mine entrances here. We've explored into some of them, not very far, of course, and tried to find old relics from the mining days. And we found some cool signs and stuff.
They've punched holes, though, all over the place.
Yeah, they sure did. So this is what started Ticaboo. Ticaboo was originally named by Cass Hite. And Cass Hite was the old prospector that came here in the late 1800s and stuff. And he called it Ticaboo because it's a Paiute word for friendly. When the mines came in, especially in the 80s, they built up Ticaboo to what you see today, which isn't much, but we're going to try to build it a little bit higher.
The Ticaboo area is an oasis nestled in the southern Utah desert where Lake Powell and Red Rock Adventure collide. An East Coast transplant, Ray and his wife, fell in love with southern Utah and are now looking to share their newfound passions with others.
We do rentals with ATVs, kayaks, paddleboards, and boats. In the boats we have ski boats, fishing boats, and pontoon boats. And we have jet skis that we rent. And then we do guided tours for just about anything you could possibly imagine. On the lake, we do kayaking, paddleboards. On the land, we do guided ATV tours, rock hounding tours. People love to go out and look for coprolite. Look at that crystal inside of it, or agate or petrified wood especially, they love that. And then we do hiking trips and canyoneering trips, and we do mountain biking trips.
Would people be surprised at what's out here?
Oh, absolutely. Bar none, man. Every time somebody comes into the Adventure Center and they're like, hey, we're just looking to go see something, we'll either rent them an ATV or do a guided tour. We have them download a digital map. We drop pins on cool stuff to go see. When they come back, they are just, every one of them is like, man, I never knew that stuff was out there. That is so cool. We're in a little spot called Eggnog Springs, and we're going to hike down here and take a look at some rock art sites.
Just a few hundred yards off trail is a rock art panel nestled in this steep canyon. A message left by those before us some 800 years ago.
They all look like bighorns, and then there's a figure of a man to the right. What were they doing? Were they headed to a hunt? Were they finding them here in the Badlands? But they obviously settled in this area, not maybe just migrated through, but as we're walking, you're gonna just see an enormous amount of chips laying around where they worked a lot of sites.
So I'm at awe right now over all of the different things that we've seen today. I'm amazed at the different terrain, the sites, the views, all of it.
Kirk and his daughter Kaylee joined us for the day and were blown away at what the area has to offer.
We sold a razor to a couple that said they love to ride around a Ticaboo. I'm like, where do you ride down there? Oh, there's washes all over down there to ride. All kinds of mining roads and trails. Now I'm actually seeing it, I'm knowing what they're talking about. It's a little hidden gem.
Pretty nice riding out here. You've got some trails that are, old roads. Some of them are old mining roads. Get a little technical. You're in some slot canyons. Pretty cool. And the best part, I think, is, you just have the whole place to yourself. Hey, we'll have more here in a moment, but first, let's check out this week's climate quiz question. The Henry Mountains were one of the last surveyed and last named mountain ranges in the lower 48. The area experienced a gold rush in the late 1800s, and there is even legend of a lost Spanish gold mine somewhere on the Henrys. John Wesley Powell made note of the range in his 1869 voyage down the Colorado River and called them the Unknown Mountains. When he returned in 1871, he named them the Henry Mountains after Joseph Henry, a close friend who was also secretary of the Smithsonian Institution. Our climate quiz question is, there are 5 peaks that make up the Henry Mountains. Can you name the highest peak on the range? Now, once you know the tallest peak, log on to our KSL Outdoors Facebook page, give us the correct answer and elevation. We'll then randomly select and announce a winner on our page the following week. The winner, set to walk away with a Climate Static V sleeping pad. KSL Outdoors, powered by Ford. Be right back to Ticaboo.
KSL Outdoors is also brought to you by Smith & Edwards, Fish Tech Outfitters, Utah State Parks, Burt Brothers, Climate, King's Camo, and Camp Chef.
Welcome back to our Taste of Ticaboo OHV adventure. What surprises me is you really don't have to go that far. I think we're 4 or 5 miles from our last stop, and plenty of overlooks, some great pictures you can check out. You got Halls Creek you can see behind us, Bullfrog Bay behind us, the boulders to the west of us, and it looks like we're stopped, and Ray's going to show us some more Indian art. Let's go check it out. Don't you think that's got to be deer or an elk?
Yeah, it has
The
to
branch
be.
antlers.
Yeah, all the
curve.
bighorns or
Yeah.
the 2 curves, and then anytime they did that, it was elk. Nobody really knows,
Right? It's all just a guess. What do you got there?
It's like a little piece of petrified wood, right?
That's heavy too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a petrified wood all over the place over here. It's almost like a tree fell and just splintered up, and it goes all the way up through here. There's some really nice, pretty pieces in here.
I think it's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Pretty easy riding.
Yeah. Kind of wanting to ride my bike up here
Did
instead
you?
of the side-by-side.
And the rocks. I saw you fuddling in the rocks quite a bit.
Yes. I have a
Okay.
lot to take home.
This is the bird trail. And from here, we're going to go across and we're going to show you one of the coolest overlooks in all of southern Utah.
It's been all easy roads. My daughter drove for a while. I've been driving a bit. It's nothing that anybody can't do.
Kirk brought a couple of different side-by-sides down for our ride, not knowing exactly what type of terrain we were going to be riding. Turns out any OHV, including a dirt bike, would handle any of the trails and old roads.
Any of the side-by-sides are going to be great. It just, if you want to go sport, go really fast, get a razor that has great suspension and great horsepower. But if you don't care about that, you need more utility. That's why I got a utility thing, so it could do more of the other stuff that I need to do.
Yeah, let's be honest. You were soft and you wanted an enclosure.
And I like the enclosure, especially this morning when you guys were frozen.
This is Hall Creek's overlook. It's a very beautiful spot. You can see the water pocket fold. And right across from us, we're looking at Brim Hall Arch.
Yeah.
And then up a little ways, we were looking at the Hamburger Hoodoos.
Beautiful out here, isn't it?
It's a spectacular area. Got Navajo sandstone, petrified sandstone, and then some of the, Muley's Twist, the Muley Canyon's right up here. And that's a really spectacular hike.
So people could conceivably rent a machine from you guys, come up here with their family, leave the machines from here, take off on a hike, and
Yeah.
go see things that very few Utahns get to see.
Yeah, there's very few Utahns that come to see this. This is a very underutilized area.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning a trip back for sure.
Next up, we take a ride to Jacob's Chair and tell you about new plans for the old Hite site on the northern end of the lake. But first, let's check out the fishing report with the guys back at Fish Tag.
Hang on. All right, I think I got it figured. I'm Nick Anderson from Fish Tech with this week's fishing report. What I got figured is how long it's going to take for the brown trout eggs to hatch. And I think it's 100 to 120 days. Why that's important to know is halfway through, which is about now, there are elvins in the water. This is the little fish that is hatched out of the egg. And they look like this. They're a small body with this little yolk sac. Now this is going to hang down in the rocks for a while, but some of them get washed out and fish are feeding on these. Now when you fish something like this, you want to use a strike indicator or your sighter and fish it just like you were fishing a nymph, just kind of bounce along the bottom. Next stage is when they emerge up out of the rocks. You'll know when this is happening because a lot of big fish are going to be lined up in these rocks, feeding on all these little teeny minnows as they come out. Problem here is they're super spooky. So what you're going to want to do to fish these is use a really long leader and a real light streamer like this that you can throw and fish through shallow water. Hey, for these tips and a whole lot more, come on down to Fish Tech, we'll help you out. Now for tonight's fishing line.
We're really trying to drive the shoulder seasons out here, and for photography, I think this is amazing. There's so much stuff that sticks out and you can't really see the texture until it's covered with snow.
Welcome back to KSL Outdoors. We've moved to the northern reaches of Glen Canyon Recreation Area.
And I love it.
We're headed out with our guide Greg and a group from Wellington.
We are going to be going up to Jacob's Chair and doing a quick little ride around in that area so that we can show off a little bit of the trails that we are just kind of getting to explore recently and find out more about.
In November, the National Park Service awarded Ticaboo Lodge the contract to be the concessionaire at Hite. Hite is located on the upper reaches of Lake Powell. Hite has mostly been forgotten by boaters since the lake level of Lake Powell has dropped below the ramp.
And everybody without exception, when they found out that we are taking that over, they have said, there's no water at Hite, but we didn't take it for that. We took it because of the amazing amount of land activity that we can take people out to and show them.
Glen Canyon Recreation Area was established in 1972. Off-roading back then wasn't as popular as it is today. Unlike many areas across the West where trails are getting closed, here at Glen Canyon, the National Park Service is considering opening up some roads for riders to enjoy.
It's a real big deal. We debated about it because we knew that the water level, but our outdoor adventure business has been growing so much in the desert land. With the access that we have now to Orange Cliffs and Muley Point, it was a perfect situation. It was the perfect storm because now we've got an outpost over in San Juan County.
If you can say this is the best kept secret, it's the honest truth. And whenever you need to come down and explore San Juan County, this is an awesome place to be. Very reasonable rates at Ticaboo, and the people are very friendly.
That's Jacob's Chair. So we're about as close as you can get on the trail here. I think there's one more place where when you loop around you can get another good view, but this is about as close as you're going to get without hiking up to it.
Ray says they are going to offer many of the same amenities at Hite that they do at Ticaboo. They hope to make this a destination for those that love the water and the sand.
So on the lake itself, we're going to do jet ski tours up Cataract Canyon to Dark Canyon. We'll be doing paddleboard trips and kayak trips going downriver to Farley Canyon and having a vehicle there to pick them up and drive them back. And then on land, we're going to do rentals with ATVs, mountain bikes, or side-by-sides and mountain bikes. So there's a wonderful opportunity here for people to come and explore. Where you don't see people, you get out and you have a good time.
The National Park Service is also renovating the camping facilities at Hite with new RV pads complete with water and electricity. Ray says this new venture is a great opportunity for those wanting to experience the great outdoors of San Juan County.
There's just an enormous opportunity over there. It's beautiful. It's just the perfect fit for Ticaboo.
In addition to the new services and adventure here at Hite, the National Park Service is also looking at extending the ramp here as well. It'll be the new takeout for those coming down Cataract Canyon, and when the lake rises, it'll be a safer way for boaters and fishermen to enjoy the northern end of Lake Powell. Hey, time now to check out this week's Utah Field Guide. Utah's Henry Mountain Range is home to one of 2 free-roaming bison herds found in Utah. The Henry Mountains herd are direct descendants of Yellowstone National Park bison. Roamers by nature, the Henry Mountain bison often cover distances of 20 miles a day. In fact, the Henry Mountain bison herd came to be almost by chance. The original 18 bison that came from Yellowstone were released in 1941 near the Dirty Devil River on the San Rafael Desert. The herd crossed the Dirty Devil in 1942 and started a winter on the Burr Desert and summer on the Henry Mountains. In 2015, scientists from Utah State and Texas A&M universities confirmed that Utah's Henry Mountains bison were one of 3 genetically pure, disease-free, and free-ranging bison populations left in North America. The others are at Yellowstone and Wind Cave National Parks. There is no evidence of crossbreeding with cattle, unlike other bison herds. In fact, this herd is particularly healthy, with a high natural survival rate and very few natural predators. Once-in-a-lifetime permits are offered in order to control the population. Recent population control efforts also include a transplanting effort by the Utah DWR to relocate excess bison from the Henrys to the Book Cliffs. For more information on any critter found in Utah, be sure to check out our Utah Field Guide on our outdoors page at ksltv.com. A little brisk in the morning, but by the afternoon it's definitely heating up down here. It's nice, you know, we've got 18 inches of snow back in Salt Lake. Here, the only snow up on the peaks there of the Hillers and Pinnell. Hey, let's check that recreation forecast now by turning it over to the guys and gals back in the weather department. Welcome back to KSL Outdoors. Hey, we brought you to the Western Hunting and Conservation Expo. That's right, it's going on this weekend, and you still have time to get down here and apply for those 200 tags, either a limited entry or once-in-a-lifetime tags. $5 will get you into the drawing. Now remember, you have to come down to the expo and validate your tag. And if you come inside the expo here, there's plenty of things to see, do, including, how about this, the Gordon buck. Killed by a man from Camas, killed in Colorado, 348 inches. Biggest buck killed by a man in almost 100 years. Remember, that's the Western Hunting and Conservation Expo. Check them out online at huntexpo.com. Time now to turn it over to you for the best of the week, our snapshot of the week. We kick it off with a beautiful shot of the moon over the Henrys. Aaron and his wife Tricia had a great day afield on the Henrys on a rabbit hunt with their trusted young rat terrier. On their drive to go on the hunt, they caught this great shot of a full moon setting as the sun came up. Tom didn't draw an elk tag this past fall, so his son invited him to fish the king salmon run out of Lake Michigan. Tom says he had a great time with his son and granddaughters. The youngest tied her own flies for the trip, and everyone caught some big fish. Lori drew a cougar tag on the Manti unit and decided to mentor her granddaughter Aspen on the hunt. After a few failed runs, their houndsman Brett finally found a great track to pursue. It took Aspen and Lori several miles, trudging through several inches of snow before they got to the tree, and Aspen did the rest. What a memorable adventure for a 13-year-old girl. Our runner-up got her first camera for Christmas and has been excited to learn how to use it ever since. 11-year-old Madeline and her dad were out looking at deer in anticipation of the upcoming shed hunt. Madeline's favorite shot of the day was this one, with one buck who just barely lost his antler, another with just one side, and a third still sporting both antlers. She and her dad look forward to looking for some brown gold in the spring. And finally, our winner tonight had a hunt of a lifetime, the funnest, she says, she's ever been on. Chantel Fleming drew a Henry Mountains bison hunt. After a hard hunt, she and her crew were able to locate a herd at about 10,000 feet, not exactly where they expected to find them in January. They made the difficult stalk, and Chantel was able to get this wonderful bison. A cool hunt, Chantel, and it looks like you had some great help to get the bison off the mountains. And the next time you guys head to the Henrys, you'll have our cool prize to take with you, as you just won our snapshot of the week. Remember, submit your pictures or video plus an explanation of your latest outdoor adventures online at ksltv.com. The winner each week wins a Camp Chef Versatop grill and griddle. Small in size, large in cooking capacity, perfect for those on the go. Plus, the winner is also entered into our Ford Trucks quarterly Facebook giveaway for a Camp Chef pellet grill.
From the backcountry to your back patio, Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
All right, so no more houseboating every week with the family. Coming down to Powell, you got to do something different now.
Yeah, we're gonna do some off-road riding.
Right? pull the wheelers behind the boats.
There you go.
That's fun. Well, thanks for coming out and having us out. And again, one last time, if people want to come and do this.
www.ticaboo.com.
Very good. Thanks, guys. I encourage you to grab your family, your friends, come out and try this. You know, as a lifelong Utahn, I'm surprised at the things every week that I learn, and Ticaboo and the area around it is definitely one of them. I'm Adam Eakle, KSL Outdoors. We'll see you next weekend. Good night.